Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and everyone else outside the gender binary. It's a Friday night. You know what that means. Got it's time for some Final Fantasy Randomizer Winter Double Anti Bingo action. I'm Shadowed Flames. I'm joined in the booth tonight by Fryteeth for this round 2 matchup. Fryteeth, how are you doing tonight?
Forward to this one. How are you?
Well, it's the beginning of the weekend, about the best time of the week for everyone involved. So can't complain too much.
Runners here who both made it through 2 matches so far. Hangry Canuck took out Wildham and then took out Burt Reynolds, and JMan has come through Drulith and Lord Fizzlebeef. And then the winner of this gets to face Dead Pulse. Getting pretty far into this.
Yeah, that's going to be a rough match for the winner no matter who ends up taking this one. It should be an interesting match, and as you can see from our bingo board, both runners have elected to give their opponent column 4. So while I go ahead and drop the gate, go ahead and let the viewers know what sort of tricky things we can expect out of that column over the next hour and change.
Yeah, so probably the trickiest tile in that column is you're forced to take 2 thieves. But that really means you have to take 2 thieves at the beginning and end with 2 thieves at the end. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see one or both of our runners head right into Tavern to see if they can swap one of those out for something else. Especially for J-Man, because he's starting with no spellcasters here. And I kind of like that strategy because one of the boxes they also have to do is Garland boxing. So you've got to take Garland down with no spells and no weapons. He knows, right at the beginning, he's going to need the attack power to get through that. The other tiles in that column aren't too bad. Don't use Temper. You may or may not need that. It may not even roll in a place where you can use it. And then with a black belt, you're going to be checking out all those trap tiles in Ice Cave anyway. And with the black belt, you don't really need a weapon.
Right. At least once you get to the later part of the run, when you get your black belt built up a little bit, the only going, finding a stick or a pair of nunchucks might not be a bad thing.
On our vendor item, it's TNT, it's in Canaria. It's only a little over 2,000 gold. And we got a quick check of the king, and that's going to get us our crystal.
Okay, so King has a crystal, TNT is in Canaria. This has all the makings of possibly a jet seat if their incentives roll in the right spots.
This is you. Which other line are you going to look at to complete? Because that's part of our double anti-bingo is they both have to complete column 4 because that's what was chosen for them, and then they can pick any other one for themselves.
I know the conventional strategy is to take a line that intersects with your force row so you have less to do, but personally, I would actually be looking at column 5. I mean, yes, use no cabins or houses is a little bit annoying, but zombies are going to be a fairly easy setup. Carry gets confused roughly 25 to 30% of the time, if not a little bit more than that. If you got a confused Carrie, you might as well hit every room on her floor while you're there. And if you're taking a black belt, level 30 is almost a guarantee. So I can stand not doing the cabins or houses, and that seems like the easiest road to me.
See that one, especially because you've got those 2 tiles with the carry floor that you can get at one time. I also like row 4 because that one's going to be pretty straightforward as well.
Right. The only thing I can see tripping me up, and this is just me speaking, is the only use cursed armor. One of the races that I saw the other night, that one was kind of tricky, especially when you had to deal with less weapons being a factor in it as well. I saw Bicky gave us a ship. Is this even randomized?
Headed to first to try and get, I assume, to try and get some levels so that they can then go take on Garland. JMan, it looks like, didn't make it through that fight, and fortunately he didn't save, so he's gonna have to walk all the way back there.
I'm surprised he didn't take the detour up to Matoya, since he's got the crystal as well. It looks like Canuck will be going up there shortly and letting us see what the nice old lady in the cave has for us.
This is the one disadvantage with JMan's party. As I said, I see why he took that fighter. I think that's maybe for some of the Garland boxing. But at level 1 on these pirates, that's going to be challenging. Alright, Toya's got the chime.
Yeah, I don't see... Oh, Tiamat with Bane, so if you're going for anything that's got that row 2, column 2 square in it, that chime might be useful. I'm not entirely sold on it, but someone could probably find some use out of it.
I don't think anyone's going to touch that column, though. I mean, you may need it to find an incentive item in there. We do need to find both our loot and our key, but you know, they start with all 4 orbs lit. So, in theory at least, the loot and the key are the only 2 items that we have to find.
Yeah, indeed. Of course, it would be kind of silly to get through all that and then, oh, hey, your loot's in Sky. So, good luck going on a fetch quest to find everything.
Round 3 for JMan with those pirates. He bought some armor this time, so hopefully it goes a little bit better.
Yeah, our tracker tonight is Rock Solid, who's got his hands full tonight trying to keep track with all the chaos that you see going on here. So, we'll give him some shout outs early because it's going to get busy here before it gets too much longer, and JMan looks like he's redoing his party.
Probably going to get either a black or a red mage.
As a proponent of red mages, I approve.
TNT turns into the crown.
And sadly, you can't use the crown or the TNT to pick the lock and get into the Dwarven Treasury. And Canuck talks to Hooray Dwarf. Hooray Dwarf still lives. That should be an instant forfeit.
You have the Hooray Dwarf set to kill?
Always and forever.
Me too. He did not light up the square for that.
It's entirely possible that Canuck already has an idea of what line he wants to go with, and is just focusing on that. Either that, or he completely missed that Hooray Dwarf is a square.
Crown is going to pay off because Astos has our floater, so we're going to be in the air here pretty quickly.
Yeah, and there is the desert docks on, so no canoe necessary tonight, as JMan gets his boat finally.
Big thing for JMan is, you know, we'll see how long it takes him to get enough money to pick up that TNT so that he can get up into the air as well here.
It was, what, about 2,400 for that?
Yeah.
Give it about maybe 3 fights on the outside, and you should have enough with these scalings.
here for JMan with taking that red mage over the black mage is we've got level 2 Fade.
Well, you're not going to need another sweeper spell for a while unless you happen to pick up Fire 3 someplace, and it's rather early.
I believe Fire 3 was also level 2.
That would be a little bit problematic. You don't want all your good spells in one level.
Confirmed. Fire 3 was level 2.
Alright, well then I guess you just have to hope that Fade works just as well in case you run into any metal slimes down the road.
Sure we will though, because, you know, again, unless they need that incentive item, I don't think either one of them is going to be heading to Sky.
Unless we get lucky and find them in one of the trap tiles, as Canuck gets airborne and immediately makes a beeline to Crescent for the free item.
And stops up at Matoya. I guess he hadn't picked up the crystal yet, but it did give him enough money that he's going to be able to buy the TNT. We've got the herb Crescent Lake.
Well, then consider me a bit fooled on that one. I thought he'd gone up and talked to the king as well. And again, I don't think he went up there after he made his party, so that I probably missed that one.
He may have gone and gotten it before he reset.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. And there's the other half of our dwarf equation. Sarda has the adamant.
His TNT, so he's going to be into the air just a couple minutes behind. Where would you go from here, now that you're in the air?
Well, I'm kind of agreeing with Canuck's play right now. Go ahead and get your leads chased down, turn in your herb, turn in your adamant, get all the basic stuff that you can done, because if you're still going to have to grind, so getting the extra multipliers to your experience might not be a bad thing. And then after that, get a fair quick level 8 or 9 or so, and give Volcano a shot. Of course, I know most people would say go ahead and make the ice play, because that might be a little bit quicker and not as much traveling as you have to do, but that's why I'm in the booth and not actually playing in this tournament.
So in this seat, I'm probably going to save the ice dive for a little bit later, because you've got to hit all 5 of those trap tiles in ice.
That's true. Another option to consider, getting those 8 or 9 levels I mentioned and taking care of Garland, as the Smith takes the adamant and gives us a little bit of couch cash. That seems a bit of a ripoff.
Yeah, I also like, at this point, going and checking the trap tiles in Earth and seeing if I can find anything, decent grind there. Angry Canuck is going to light up that bottom left tile, buy one of everything at the caravan.
Alright, so... that
Maybe looking at that... sorry.
I was going to say, I think we're about to go to the same place. That begs the question, column 1 or bottom left diagonal?
Looking at that diagonal. You can't do column 1 because of the 2 black mages.
Yes, good point. I apparently, even with thick glasses on, I still can't see anything.
He could have taken 2 black mages with the 2 thieves at the start, but since he didn't, he can't get that tile now.
Ooh, that's a bit of a bummer. Warp in its vanilla location, level 5 slot 3. So that's promotion locked. I also saw Pro Rings for kind of cheap in Milmund, 4,047. So not too bad of a pickup there.
Right now, both of them look like they may be going after that, used only cursed armor tile, and if I saw correctly, I think those pro rings rolled neutral.
Yeah, that's correct. So if they're going for that tile, then you're right. That's probably going to be a thing best left in Melbourne. Canuck looks like he might be going for the Garland fight here. Hope we remember to unequip everything.
He ever equipped anything? Nope, he's got nothing equipped, so he's good here.
Well, it also helps that he's got a few levels on that black belt, so this will go a little bit quicker. JMan picks up his herb as Garland goes down to a nice little right hook. And we get the bottle from the princess.
You also see J-Man's been talking to a bunch of the hint characters, so I think he's probably going after that row 4.
Well, that's certainly a decent enough play because every room on carry 1 floor could be kind of free. I mean, you'd probably want to kill carry to get out of there a little bit faster without exit handy, but it's still doable.
Characters are, they provide you some useful information as well. Although sometimes you don't want to talk to them.
I'll be perfectly honest. In what few seats I've played with them on, I don't talk to them mainly because I forget exactly where they are.
In my last race, I had the promote as soon as possible tile. But with the black belt, you don't want to promote until you've already leveled. So I was avoiding the hint givers because my fear was one of them would tell me where the tail was. And then I'd have to promote the black belt at low level.
Which is quite understandable. Meanwhile, Canuck turns in his bottle and finds half of the key items that we need to get in the Topher. He finds the loot at the bottom of the fairy fountain.
But yeah, the same issue as you. I don't always, since the hint givers are so often not turned on, that I forget where they are in a lot of these locations.
Oh, there was the one in Melmund just talking about a ribbon in Ice Cave. So that's a ribbon I don't think it's incentivized. So maybe that's just an extra loose item.
Yeah, the ribbon is... I think the massa is the only incentivized item we have. Yeah.
You think I would have remembered that from how many of these races I've tracked over the last couple of rounds, but I don't trust my memory at 9:20 on a Friday evening.
Is finally going to go after his Garland kill. We see he's unequipped all his weapons.
And not much of anything to write home about in the free chest over on the left side of Topher. I was about to call it Topher, but it's not even revisited yet, so silly me. I mean, with this fighter and this red mage, they're not dealing as much damage as a black belt normally would, but that fighter's doing decently enough to make up for it.
But she should have him down here any second now. Hangry Canuck is going to start his ice dive, so this isn't a bad tile to defeat every trap tile because, with the black belt, you're going to want to check these trap tiles anyway.
Right, because you're always looking for the infamous third eye grind tile, which you find that's your shortcut right to 50 or 42 at the minimum.
JMan is taking care of Garland, and just 20 minutes in, JMan only needs 2 more tiles on that card to be done.
Yeah, although I would not suggest trying to go through the Temple of Fiends at level 10 or 11, so unfortunately it won't be that quick, but half the battle being done with is always a good thing. Plus, just a matter of that pesky key floating around somewhere that we still have to find.
Has 2 tiles down. Nothing particularly exciting though, nothing you're going to want to grind on at this point.
No, but this is... Oh, turn order lucked out for him, and I was about to say, this might be a reset with those ghosts there. I certainly do not blame him in the least for skipping out on looking for those treasures, and the chimeras get them, so that looks like we'll come back to this when I get some more levels under my belt.
And the good news for him is he's taken care of 3 of the tiles, and he now knows what the 4th one is, so won't be a ton of work to do when he comes back.
Nah, it's just more time consuming than anything, having to go all the way through and then fall down the hole to get to your trap tile there where the vanilla floater would be.
Our first check of these trap tiles in Earth.
Sorcerers with sleep touch and airs. Check please. I'm just going to call out Goats Pirate in chat with a nice little tidbit that I hadn't thought about until now. Little appreciated fact, when you toss Masamune from the Sky Castle, a future runner will find it at the bottom of the fairy pool. Of course, it could be worse. You could toss the Masamune out and it turns into the Vorpal after being in the water for so long.
Are overrated.
I don't know. I've had some luck with Vorpals, but not anything I'd want to bet the farm on. Let's see. Canuck is about to head on to the Agora floor, so let's see what the play here is.
Going to make life a little more difficult. Unfortunately, he didn't heal and he's lost his Black Mage.
Lost Black Mage, and that one thief is down to 1 health. Well, no health.
Sure. Those spots, you've got to look for some levels somewhere.
Yeah, question is, at this point, given what we've seen, where would you look?
Might make either the Ordeals play here. Got another incentive item, and it gives us 2 more trap tiles to check. I'm not usually a fan of an early Ordeals play, but they're both struggling in ice. They're both we're seeing some struggles in Volcano. The earth tiles weren't very good.
I do not believe he checked either of the trap tiles that are somewhat easily accessible in the armory, did he?
He didn't.
If it was me, I'd check those before I'd leave the volcano. Just one of those, just to see if there was anything worth it in the process. Looks like right now he's going to go for the incentive tile down here, and Stake and Wings.
Bad tile. How high they rolled. No, I don't think they've been to Waterfall yet.
No, they have not gone anywhere in the northern continent near Anrak.
Like we're going to try and see every room on Carrie's floor. As JMan continues checking trap tiles in Ice Cave.
He should have that one cleared off here before too much longer. Canuck just needs 2 more, bottom, middle, and Carrie's room itself.
Did he go to the bottom middle room there?
I'm beginning to doubt my map knowledge. I thought that was a room down there, but it might not be.
Yes, there definitely is a room bottom middle there.
Yep, you're right. The room bottom middle, the entrance is in the lower left side of the enclosed room. So I certainly didn't see him go down there. You didn't see him go down there. Our tracker and our restreamer both say he didn't go down there. So we'll have to get somebody from the admin group to ping in the race room and let them know.
JMan, I think, made it almost through all the trap tiles in ice. I didn't see what happened. Did he exit on purpose without checking the last one?
I admit I missed it while I was double checking the bottom of Volcano map, so I think he probably wiped.
At least with that tile, you know, you don't have to clear all 5 of them on one trip. That would make it a lot harder. So yeah, he did walk out. Chat. I think he may have found a ribbon, wanted to save that.
Certainly not a bad call. I mean, they did say that the ribbon was in the chest here on Ice Cave, so not a bad idea.
Our first look at Waterfall as well.
And for those of you who believe in the practice, get your RNG hype emotes out and hope for an out of bounds bat sighting. And unless he's floating a little bit further south than we went, no bats, sadly.
Definitely not a great tile here in Waterfall. And a rod. Very limited use.
Especially on this board, because the only thing that I see is Kill Lich 1, which doesn't seem like that's going to be in the way.
JMan gets his last trap tile, and so is that now 2 ribbons in Ice Cave?
Well, it looks like to me.
So JMan, to complete his bingo board, just needs to visit the bottom of Volcano.
Yep, I see that happening after he gets done his grinding and does what he needs to, and or finds the key.
That's right, they can't use the ribbons though. If they're going after that line, because they're +2s.
Not to mention, this is something we really haven't touched on. For one of the classes that's on our screens right now, they can't use the ribbon thanks to the class blessings. Which, even if you wanted to use it and say the heck with the cursed armor, well, if you're running a black belt, you're not going to get much luck out of it.
Yeah, I mean, fortunately, once you get that black belt up high enough, you don't really need those ribbons at that point.
Gold -4 bracelets for sale. Not too shabby. At least his party can use them. The black mages are banned from bracelets in this seed.
Really good point from Chanigan. Oh, wait. Yeah, that would still require the cursed armor to go that diagonal.
Yeah, those pesky diagonals will run into you every time, and Nightmare's an okay man. Not the best grind tile, but that might be a little bit better than some of the stuff we've seen so far. So, yeah, you might want to start throwing spells at the nightmares. They're usually very evasive. So, trying to punch them down is not going to work too well, usually.
I found a frosty tile in ordeals, but that's not going to go so well right now.
Yeah, and funny about that, I had Wendy's for dinner tonight. So, how's that for coincidence? Hmm. Demon Frog also bringing up a somewhat decent point. If you manage to get enough gold bracelets saved up, promote as soon as possible, gain the 40,000 in the shop, and confuse carry, and you might have that line too.
Yeah, because that lets you use those ribbons, and with confuse at level 2, you're not going to run into that problem of not having enough of them.
Right, and given some of the roles that we've seen so far, I might consider doing that and getting rid of the cursed armor square. Having those ribbons might not be a bad thing.
Say JMan found this gray worm tile, but got a decent amount of HP.
Yeah, not something to sneeze at. Might be something to come back to. Meanwhile, Canuck finds the GameCube in Ordeals. I mean, seriously, it's a purple cube. You're not going to tell me that's not a GameCube.
So we're still looking for that key, and there's not a lot of locations left for it. We haven't seen the Earth incentive, and we haven't seen Sky.
We haven't seen Titan either. So, my first guess is Rod leads to Ruby, leads to the key in Titans. Or you could throw another stop in there because we haven't seen the slab either. So Rod to Ruby to slab to the key in Lafania.
Those are our only two locations that are currently available to us.
Well, if you're going for that confused carry square, that JMan just found a pretty decent item. I saw a wizard staff, a loosened volcano in the Agama floor. And I realized now that I said that, I'm drawing a blank on if it's the wizard staff that does confuse or if it's the mage staff.
I don't recall. J-Man's gonna start his tour of... Alright, and there's the key for Hangry Canuck, so that ordeal strip is required.
Alright, so Canuck's still going up up Sky Tower, so what's his play here?
Check out.
Oh, yeah, so he did. Pay no attention to the guy behind the microphone, folks. He doesn't know what he's talking about.
Another nice thing about that key, I mean, not only do you need it to finish, but that opens up, 3 of my favorite grind tiles. Gives you the lock chest, or the lock room in Temple of Fiends. Plus, the safest grind we have, which is over in Northwest Castle.
And let's not forget, it also opens up another incentive item over at Canaria Castle, which I don't know if it's going to be absolutely necessary to see, but a little bit of extra experience might not help if it'll get you your grind a little bit faster.
Point from Demon Frog, that Canaria one, if you're going after that promote as soon as possible, then you don't really want to go check that. On the other hand, if you're not using column 1 or row 3, if it finds you a cursed massa, then that's going to help your grind out.
Alright, I briefly saw a stake on JMan's screen. Gotta love the team stakes right there for the Tyro. And here's the 3 grind towers 2 of the 3 grind towers you were talking about. Let's see if we got anything good in here. This one could be doable. Except for the fact that they apparently rolled over 300, so Quad X isn't going to do anything.
It's like somewhere between 300 and 440. But regardless, that's where I'm going to stay at this point.
Alright, that might be your best bet. Although, the way they seem to be focusing on the Black Mage, I would consider going back to Elfland real quick and reviving one of both characters so you have more targets to keep that mage alive.
Answer in chat, JMan, yeah, he hasn't lit that tile up yet for visiting every room on carry floor, but we just saw him do it, so yeah, he's got his 2 lines complete. He just needs to get levels. So he did finish Ice Cave.
Yeah, it took a couple tries, but better to get it done with and not have to worry about it anymore.
Looks like. I'm gonna take another shot at these Agamas.
I'd like to know what they're feeding these Agamas. Oh, or maybe he's going for the Peds first, see if that's a... Never mind.
It's even worse. But I definitely liked your idea, go and bring those other 2 characters up, just let them absorb some damage. And that'll let you get a couple early levels that you can get going on this.
Well, Brack option isn't too bad of an idea as long as you can keep your... Never mind. I apparently can't get a full sentence out without the Agamas going and killing somebody. JMan gets his $1.83 from the Smith.
Big question for JMan is how long is it going to be till he heads up to Ordeals to get that cube?
Yeah, I'm sitting here trying to run other scenarios in my head. I would think that should be one of his next stops because he doesn't have the rod to go through all of Earth. He might be looking to try to find a grind tile to get to his desired level and then try to blitz through ordeals and the like.
Well, he doesn't need the rod to get through Earth because the incentive item is before that.
See, this is, as I mentioned, this is another reason that I'm in the booth. My mindset is you do not do Earth Cave until you have the rod, because then you full clear it. Never mind that, oh, you already have all the orbs split already. One of these days, I tell you, I will learn this flag set so I know what I'm talking about.
Get this flag set in a couple days.
Looks like JMan might have found his grind here. Looks like those Chimeras are somewhat doable. The fighter's already at 23. I would probably go low 30s with this party setup before I go ahead and call it a day. I figure low 30s should be decent enough. Plus, he's already unclicked the use no cast item, so that brings the power bonk back on the table.
Now, I wonder if he'll go swap that fighter out for a black belt at some point.
Nope, he's going to give up on that bottom left diagonal. He just used a house, so it looks like it's going to be column 4 and row 4 are his weapons of choosing.
JMan's already finished row 4, so he just hasn't remembered to click on that tile.
Details. Who needs those playing a Final Fantasy game? Still, that Zeus Gauntlet plus 4 is a nice find, so there's a free Lit 2 cast.
Our tail in Canaria Castle, so assume we'll see a quick trip up to promote.
If that's what he's doing, he still needs the 5 hint PCs to do row 4 as well, so it's entirely possible that's still what Canuck is aiming for.
That one, though, with row 4 is, remember, he skipped that room on bottom middle room in Volcano.
Right. It doesn't necessarily mean that he's not going to go back to it. We have notified him in the bingo room that he missed a room, so we'll have to see how he approaches this as he goes back for more Agamas.
So he got some safer tile, and well, his black mage survives the fight, but the black belt doesn't.
And that's not the result you want to see out of that situation, but at least he lives to get out of there and go revive. Yes, Gregory. Oh, never mind. As soon as I look over, that tile's been marked now. So, JMan's officially and now visually here in Go mode. Alright, and looks like Canuck just got the notice about the bottom, middle, and carry 1, so that's now been cleared off, and things look like they're about where they should be. Nope, and turn order does not go his way, and the third Agama does in the black belt. So back to the entrance of the Northwest Castle we go.
Yeah, so just to answer in chat, using the Zeus Gauntlet, the tiles that say use only cursed armor or use only cursed weapons mean that you can only equip them. But using them to cast an item doesn't kill that tile off.
Yeah, it's a little bit of semantics at this point, but yeah. Use no cast items means you can't use the power bomb for what most people use it for. You can't use the white trick for what most people use it for. Use only cursed armor means you find a ribbon +3, you can't equip it. You find a neutral pro ring, you can't equip it. Find a power gauntlet -4, yeah, you can go ahead and equip that if you want. And even if you have no use cast items, as long as you don't use it to cast Saber, you're good. I use that as example specifically because if you look up at column 3, row 1, use no caster items. So we have an example of both squares being active on the same card at the same time. Sorry, I was jotting down a couple notes for post-race interviews and what have you. Trying to get ahead of the game for once.
Canuck finally gets just 2 Agamas. Gonna need turn order here. And this time his black belt does survive, so gonna get a couple levels there.
And it looks like 19's what I saw, so still a little bit to go. Just 2 levels to hit that 21 break point, and that'll hopefully open up things a little bit more for him.
I think this is gonna go well. 4 Agamas with just the black belt.
Yeah, realized that about the same time we did. So that's a quick nope, I'm out, and probably off to revive someone. JMan looks like he's settled into these sorcerers here. Zeus Gauntlet and Fade seem to be doing the trick so far.
Into the 30s already.
Yeah, 31 with that fighter. I don't know if I'd be taking that too much higher.
Again, depends on what he's planning on doing. If he's going to swap that out for a black belt, then he may want to go up to 42.
That may be, but at this point, I would almost think it would be worth switching over to the black belt at 32, just so that way you have that already done.
And we know where to find the black belt. We can find them right back in Canaria.
Canuck is doing his ice cave mandatory run here. See if the two-man group is able to do what's necessary.
Fortunately, he ends up with 4 chimeras.
And they're hitting for pretty hefty damage, so yeah, that's going to be a do not pass go, do not collect 1 bingo square.
So JMan lit up one of those squares that always worries me. That bottom right corner. It doesn't make you feel good when you're still level 19 or 20, and you see your opponent's got over level 30 at this point.
Right, I know at this point I would have a little bit of a mild panic because I certainly don't have any of my stuff fully together at this point if I'm in Canuck's position and someone's already got over 30. Yeah, I'm behind the 8 ball at this point.
Plus, the fact that JMan's completed both of his bingo lines. Right. He doesn't know that JMan still has to go on that quest for the key.
Right. So, excuse me for a moment.
Well, that may help his grind out for Hangry Canuck. He finds Nuke at level 6.
Level 6, you're not going to get as many casts out of it as you'd like, but I certainly agree with you there. That might help take out these Agamas a little bit quicker. Wow, and Nuke was only rolling 150 to 200. So either the spell rolled lower, they've got some pretty decent magic defense going with the Agamas.
Black Mage goes down again, but there he does hit level 21 on the black belt, so that should help a little bit.
Right, it's now within the realm of possibility that you might be able to one-shot the Agamas with your black belt. I still think it might take 2 rounds unless you get a number of crits off, but at least now it opens up the possibility that things might work out a little bit better.
JMan just still on these sorcerers. Not the fastest grind, but it's been pretty steady and consistent and seems pretty safe. So it's up to 32 and 34.
Yep. So if you're in that position, how much longer do you go with this?
I probably would have left this grind a while ago. To me, it's probably a little on the slow side, but it's working for him.
Well, it's entirely possible he may be metagaming a little bit too, because as you mentioned, He's clicked the tile for level 30 with one character. He can see that Canuck has not done that. So he might be thinking, I might still be missing a key item, but I'm ahead right now. So I can afford to make certain that there's going to be absolutely no problem with whoever I take going through and surviving while I do my search for the key.
Leaves. I think that's just because he ran out of fade charges. No, he's left.
Yeah, I mean, it's entirely possible that it might be a combination of no fade charges and ran out of housing. But at this point, yeah, he's probably better served going off and trying to find the key. And it looks like he's going to make Waterfall his first port of call.
Like Hangry Canuck is finally at a point where he can one-shot these Agamas. It's just as as we see in chat, has he lost too much time getting to this point?
Well, let's take a look at his bingo board here. Depending on what row he's going for, he still needs to do the trap tiles and ice cave. That's a given no matter what. Then it's a question of, does he go for the 40,000 gold in the shop, or does he go back down to the bottom of Volcano to redo to carry one floor and get that bottom middle row, and then find the rest of the hint NPCs that he's been missing?
I think he's definitely going to go for that diagonal. As long as he's got enough stuff to sell to get that much. But I would think, if he does this Agama grind long enough, I think what were those gold bracelets? 29,000?
17 and change, I believe. So, knock off about half, you're looking at 8,500, give or take.
So you can buy 6 of them and then leave and come back in and resell them and taking care of that.
Well, you'd have to have enough gold for it. I don't know. He went out of the menu so quick, I couldn't tell. So I'll try to look again here. I think I saw over 100,000, so 6 by 18, 6, 48, 108. Yeah, he should have just enough.
And he's going to pick up more now that these Agamas are going down so easily.
Right, then it's just a matter of emptying out the inventory a little bit and playing a little bit of capitalist adventure. JMan seems to be taking it personally to get rid of every bat that he sees in the waterfall. Not that I can say that I blame him for that.
Alright, so Hangry Canuck, he's left his grind. Yep, and there he goes for the gold bracelets.
2. Let's see, 3. Well, there's half of them. 4. 5. Can he get the 6th one? Yep. And one more for good measure? Nope. Hang on. He's looking. He's thinking. He's double checking, I guess, his math to make certain. Yep. So there he goes. He's going to go ahead and do that. Although, question while I'm thinking of it. If it's gain in one shop, don't you have to leave the shop and then come back?
You may be right about that.
Well, chat's talking about how JMan still needs a key. At least he's in the right place to start looking for it.
Find his cube here. So is he gonna head straight over to Sky, or we haven't been down to Earth 3 yet?
You're already up on the northern continent. By the time you get back to your airship, you're going to be right next to the Mirage Desert. I'd just go ahead and hop into Sky and Mirage while I'm there to see if it's worth the trip. In this case, he'll find out that it is. Because after all, you don't want to be spending too much time flying around the world if you can try to line things up to go boom, 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 boom right down the line.
Rock Solid has posted shop rule has gained 40,000 gold in one shopping trip you must save after completing this goal. So I'm not sure about what you were asking.
Yeah, that's something I might have to do a little bit of research on myself here once we get done. JMan has finished his ordeals run. He's picked up his GameCube, and let's see if Sky is next.
Demon Frog is saying if I'm understanding that you gotta sell it, but you can't reset afterwards.
Yeah, so no co-op strats, in other words.
Right.
Alright, so JMan has gone into Mirage, so he should be getting the good news here shortly.
Angry Canuck got that last trap tile on the ice, so he's good on his bingo board also.
Right, and right now he's got the slight advantage because he has all the key items that he needs. And his black belt should be at a point where he could go right into Topher and get started. So that might be the key point here, pun completely unintentional.
He elects not to bring either of those thieves up.
The quote and overly used line, that's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for him. Meanwhile, Canuck finds the dance party tile, zombie Ds with trance, and wizard vampires with slow. So, rave music followed by a slow dance. Talk about tonal shift.
JMan's got his key, so now he's got to walk this one all the way out as well.
So this could be down to a span of maybe 2 or 3 minutes. It would depend on if JMan brings back the 2 rugs in his party and how well Canuck is able to get through the gatekeeper. Question in chat: what are cursed weapons in this game? In the randomizer, we've added things called blessed weapons, short for blessed and cursed weapons. If you've played D&D at all, you might be familiar with sword +1, sword +2, sword -1, that sort of thing. Cursed weapons are anything that rolls with a minus. So, Mazamune -5, despite still being one of the best swords in the game, is technically a cursed weapon. And along the same lines, we also have blessed armor as well. And you can set the variants on those differently. You can have weapons that go to one range and armor that goes to something completely different.
Angry Canuck is coming up here on Lich 2, which shouldn't be a problem. That black belt. And it's not.
Wait, there was a Lich on screen?
JMan is finally going to be able to come in also.
Yep, so looking at roughly 3 minutes or so. Although, looks like last minute spell shopping here. Wall is at level 2. That's probably a good bet, especially if you can not use the ribbons that we found.
Unfortunately for Hangry Canuck, these waters are to take him out.
Waters and airs, 2 of the most deadly enemies that you'll run into in Temple of Fiends Revisited.
What's JMan doing? Is he maybe looking for the massa at this point?
It's possible. I've run out of English words, please. I think by this point, by process of elimination, the vampire chest would have the slab, and the slab would turn into a Maza. That's about the only thing that I can think of.
I think it's the slab is going to turn into the ruby, which will turn into that.
Yes, that.
Never saw the ruby either. JMan's not going in yet. I guess he wants to get up to 42 here.
Probably wants as many stats as he can get on that fighter before he goes in. And also, he does not know what these grind tiles are. He has not been in Northwest Castle. So he's going to find out here pretty soon that you got Agamas sitting in the middle spike tile.
So how much time did JMan lose on the reroll? I think it was probably 5 or 6 minutes. I mean, he took, I think, at least 3 tries at those pirates before he rerolled.
Yeah, I'd say closer to 6. But yeah, that's a pretty fair assessment there. A couple wipes at the Pirates, trying to go with an all melee group, and once once you find that you had sweeper spells available at 1 and 2, made more sense.
Yeah, so that's a good question in chat that Hangry Canuck has not lit that level 30 tile yet. And yeah, my understanding is the same, that you have, as soon as you finish something, you have to light up that tile. So that could be another reason that JMan is continuing to grind, because you don't see that level 30 tile lit. You figure your opponent is probably not up to level 30 yet and isn't ready to go in. There it goes.
As someone who enjoys playing this with the extra moving parts, that is the class blessings and the weapon and armor blessings and everything else, adding the bingo is too many moving parts for my liking. So, yep, I think you pretty much nailed that right on the head, because as soon as that tile got lit, J-Man booked it out of Northwest. Looks like this is going to be a last-second shopping trip. Maybe he's looking for wall, unless he's the one that already picked it up. And
Yeah.
It'll be Topher time for him now that he's bringing back his rugs.
Interesting. He did not switch over to a black belt. And I don't think he's got much of a weapon on that fighter. After wiping again, looks like Hangry Canuck is going to go grind some more.
Well, if he's determined to stick to 2-man, then 42 is probably his best bet. But that's going to give J-Man a chance to get ahead here.
42 is probably the play here, regardless, because you can't use temper. I don't think we've seen fast at all, so I don't mind going at 32 if you have if you've got fast available.
Well, if Canuck had found a power gauntlet, you could probably make a go at it at 32. It's just, as pointed out, the waters are going to still be your stumbling block.
I like Caleb's idea a lot. J-Man had both that fighter and red mage up till right around level 40. Yeah, I like the idea of making them both black belts, and then you just destroy everything going through the end.
Well, especially since you haven't promoted anyone, they're going to have that good magic defense. So ribbons are going to be a moot point anyway. You still have to worry about a little bit better than 3 and 256, but it's not as much of a difference to be that worried about.
A weapon J-Man is swinging at this point?
Green sword, I want to say that's a dragon sword.
That's what I thought. And I think it was a dragon sword -5.
Yeah, I didn't see what the blurs on that one is. But rough napkin math here, thanks to this spreadsheet that I've been working off and on since joining the community. If that's a -5 dragon sword as we expect, It's barely going to be much better than a vanilla large knife. So, more and more that play to go swap out the 2 red characters for 2 black belts is probably the better one.
He's got to look at his weapons there. Yeah, that's a dragon -5.
Alright, so real quick, while he's dealing with the speed bump, let's go over a little bit of our cursed weapon logic for those of you who were just asking earlier. A vanilla dragon sword has a damage rating of 19, and adds 15% to your hit, and has a crit rating of 20. If you factor in that -5, the Dragon Sword drops to a damage rating of 9, the hit drops to 0, and your crit drops to 5. So, again, barely better than your vanilla large knife, which for the record is 7, 10, and 10.
It does through Lich too, but it was a struggle.
And I don't see it getting much easier here with Carry and then the Gatekeeper up ahead.
The biggest issue Hangry Canuck has, his black belt is up to 41, but black belt is by itself. Now with the scaling we're looking at, I've certainly run a solo black belt through here many times, and especially now that he's hit 42, he's in decent shape to get through here. But some of those unrunnable fights, if he runs into him again.
Yep, it's going to be those waters on the Kraken 2 floor is probably going to be the major stumbling block, because those things hit like a truck.
Right now, basically, JMan is 1 floor ahead. But I think we're going to see Hangry Canuck make that up pretty quickly.
Yeah, JMan just had a nasty little encounter with Waters and Nagas that threatened to take out his red mage, so as long as he can avoid too many more encounters on this floor, he might get the Kraken too. And don't look behind you, J-Man, because Canuck's coming right up on you.
Are those lobsters with nuke and zap?
I was just about to ask if my eyes were deceiving me. That's a nasty little surprise.
And gets to Kraken first, but this is going to be a much easier fight for Hangry Canuck.
The good news, Kraken didn't drop the fighter with one shot. Bad news, all it's going to take is one turn order.
Just right through Kraken too. Fortunately, he wipes out, so Angry Canuck is in good shape to finish this one off right now.
Well, barring any surprises that Chaos might have, as we've seen that be an equalizer more times than we care to imagine.
Feeling Chaos can have anywhere from 2,000 to 4,000.
Not to mention all the nasty spells and skills in the arsenal. Nuclears, nukes, zap. pain. Pretty much anything that can ruin your day can happen.
And he's hitting really hard. I think this punch should do it. That's it.
Ooh, a little bit of a close call there, but Canuck does come through, and the official time, 1 hour, 23 minutes, 22 seconds.
Go on to face Dead Pulse in the next round.
Yep, and looks like right after that, JMan just said, okay, I'm done. This seat has trolled me enough and has forfeited from the race. But still, a very close race all around. So GG's to our runners. I'm going to see if they want to come join us or if they've had enough of this for one night. And we are joined by JMan as Canuck. It will be joining us shortly. JMan, GG's.
GG.
Where do you even want to begin with all this? And we are also joined by Canuck, GG's. And I'll throw the same question to you, and y'all can decide. Where do you even want to begin with talking about this mess of a seed?
I gave up 45 minutes in. Couldn't you tell? I couldn't get a grind off to Agama, so I kept going to Ice Cave. Then I decided to go here. And then I decided to fly around for a while. Then I decided to go here because I seen he had his 2 lines. And I figured he had a black belt, so I was just like, put my feet up, grab a couple drinks of juice. I'm like, just waiting for the dot done to come. Then all of a sudden, I'm grinding, and I'm like, still no dot done. Like, maybe. And then Topher was just horrible. Literally horrible. I lost and get crit by every enemy there was. I think the enemy crit rate was like 150%.
Just realized I was talking and muted that whole time. Sorry, guys.
So, question about your grind. Did you ever think about bringing the 2 thieves back up to start that grind just to absorb some damage?
Even once. The second those 2 thieves were done, they were done. I only kept the first one around for a while so I could run from a few things.
Yeah, so Canuck, my mistake was I did not take a black belt. I decided to go fighter to try to get Garland boxing out of the way quickly.
I left that. I went right to the king, then I went to Bicky, then I ran a bunch of fetch quests. I had my floater before I beat up Garland, to be quite honest.
I was in the same boat. Yeah, I actually ended up resetting 5 minutes in because I went I think it was black belt fighter, and then when I went over to provoke us, saw level 2 fade, and I knew it wasn't in the line I was going to take. I went and switched to a red wizard or red mage. So yeah, my mistake was going fighter red mage instead of black belt red mage.
So for a JMan, did you? We were all wondering about not going to the tavern in Canaria and swapping the fighter out, and maybe both the fighter and the red mage for a pair of black belts, because you were way over level 40, and 2 level 45 black belts. I think you would have sailed through there at the end.
Yeah, in all honesty, tunnel vision, if you will, on I just don't look at the taverns as swapping out characters.
Yeah, I refuse to do it. If you give me 3 black belts, I'll take 3 black belts and a black mage, and I'll go to town. But I'm not using the tavern.
Yeah, we kind of talked about that, so I didn't even think about using them for that. But then again, that's why I'm not going down into the bottom bracket now.
To be quite honest, I seen you had your 2 lines lit up at about like the 40-minute mark, and I didn't even have half a line finished. I was like, this ain't good. So I was just waiting for your dot done. I'm waiting. Wait,
Yeah, the problem I had was since I was running a fighter, literally the only weapon I could use was a -5 dragon sword.
I didn't equip a single thing, not a piece of armor. My black mage went into Topher at level 21 and got crit like nobody's business with no armor on. Poor black mage.
Shockingly, when you're used to running black belts all the way up, and then you run a fighter, it's like, oh, level 42 fighter, and he just gets crushed by Kraken.
Well, I'll be honest. Before we started, I thought about taking 2 black mages to get that top row with the worms.
I did think about it myself, but I'm thinking two thieves, 2 black mages is a bad party comp for trying to win a race.
Yeah, especially with you can only use cursed weapons. If the weapons wouldn't have been cursed, it would have been okay.
Being able to use temper.
Didn't I visit the bottom room on Carrie's floor? I could have swore I did.
From what we could tell, there were about 5 of us looking, and the bottom middle floor was the one that you missed because you started in incentive, went around, went to bottom right, moved over to carry. You skipped that bottom middle.
Ah, okay. Good catch. Good catch. I didn't need a line anyway, so I really wasn't going to worry about it. But wow, I can't
Yeah,
believe it.
rely on that one.
So, given that you were going in with that fighter, did you think about digging the massa out? Because we never saw it, but we know it had to be Earth to Titans, or Earth to Lefane to Titans.
Yeah, I say when I found the key, it's like, all right. Well, I was hoping I got lucky by going straight over instead of trying to dig out Earth Cave.
I didn't touch Earth Cave. What was in there?
My grind.
I stepped foot in Ice Cave to look at the
Sorry for making
tiles.
everybody watch 30 minutes of me beating up on sorcerers.
Well, it's better than my 30 minutes of dying to Agamas.
I don't think I found an Agama till almost the hour mark.
Well, they were in Northwest Castle in one of the trap tiles.
That's where I found them, and I was already, I think, level 38 or 39 of my fighter when I found the Agamas.
I was like, I found the Agamas. I'm like, great, but I need a few more levels before I can take them. So I walked on to the other tile. It was 4 Peds. I'm like, oh, this is sweet. Nah, well, they got Squint. Well, there goes that idea.
Yeah, the trap tiles certainly were not anybody's friends here tonight because they were either enemies that were too strong, not worth it, or just worth it. And then, oh, hey, Squint. Yeah, we didn't want that anyway.
I forgot all about Nuke at level 6 till the end. Forgot all about it being there. I ran my Black Mage on 5 spells. Nuke, Quad X, Brack, Lightning 2, and Fire 3. That was it. That's all I had.
I think my red mage literally just had Lightning 2, Fade, and Cure 4.
Well, it certainly was no help that Warp was in vanilla locations. So
Yeah, Warp was locked, so I knew I wasn't getting Warp because I knew I wasn't going to class change. It didn't matter.
Yeah, I thought about it, and then I ended up actually. I almost did the. I started to do the class change, then you got done, and I was almost looking at it to equip the freaking power bonk because it was only a -1.
I don't check chests. Like I bet you guys think I was checking chests in Cardia because I was looking for a big ticket item to get the 40,000 gold in the shop. It's the only reason I was checking chests. Other than that, I don't open them.
I'm with you on that.
And my catchphrase is chests are like catnip to me. I can't stay away from them.
yeah, I'm closer to JMan in that regard. I see a chest, I have to open it. That's just 35 plus years of playing RPGs coming back to bite me.
And skip all the chests and ordeals.
I imagine. Oh, that was fun too when I got to ordeals.
Yeah, another bout of fun to watch me try to stumble around like a blind kitten.
I went in and I swear to God, the crit rate of the enemies in the game must have been 150%. Seemed like every hit I took, they were critting me. And I barely got by Chaos. He crit me a couple of times. I think I had like 100 hit points left when I finished.
Nice, yeah. Definitely think black belt would have been the way to run for sure.
Well, it's the queue for these seeds, really.
Oh yeah, especially since you can just grind it up. You don't have to go fight all the fiends or any of the fiends at some point.
I was going to give you row 3. I was thinking about it.
I was thinking row 2 might have been really hard too for having to get Bane and Quake.
Yeah, when I was looking at this card before the race, I have in my notes that if I was picking a row for someone, row 2 was going to be what I would have given them.
Oh, yeah, sorry, row. Actually, I thought of giving you BLTR as well.
That would have been a little bit rough for sure. Luckily, the cabins and houses, I mean, I chose, because I knew I wasn't going to do that diagonal. I'm like, I'll just use a couple houses because I need some fade charges.
I lived on tents. Absolutely lived on tents.
Oh, yeah, I think my first round, I had to do that and another test. So I'm actually pretty adept at not using cabins and houses at this point.
Yeah, me too. And it worked out so perfectly because the tents were just one down from my heels. So I really didn't have to move out of the inventory too far to make a mistake. So it worked out well that way. But I didn't try to make it work out that way, but it just did.
Yeah, all right. Well, at this point, I think we should be thinking about letting RPG Limit Break have their channel back. So let's go ahead and get into some final thoughts here before we go ahead and wrap things up. Canuck, let's start with you. You got any final thoughts on this seed?
Danny, you're never rolling another one.
Hey, at least it wasn't Blaze Arachnids this time.
No, just everything had squint.
Fair enough, but good luck getting that one to actually stick. We can but hope, though.
No, well, thanks for the restream and the comms and the tracking, guys. It's much appreciated. And good luck there, JMan, on your down in the other bracket. I'm sure you'll do well. So have fun with that. And thanks a lot, guys.
Yep. JMan, let's go to you. Any final thoughts from your end?
A lot of the same. Thank you guys for putting this all together, doing the comms, doing the tracking, doing the restreaming, all that fun stuff. And of course, Hangry, gonna have some fun. I think you're what now, top 8-ish? So nothing but gas moving forward for you.
There's nothing but gas no matter where you go in this seed.
Yeah, this tournament's starting to get down to the nitty gritty here. There's not going to be an easy match for the rest of the way out. Let's go to my co-coms. Fireteeth, you got anything you'd like to add here before we wrap things up?
No, just looking ahead on the schedule. It looks like currently no matches scheduled for tomorrow, but looks like we've got 2 matches scheduled for Sunday. Zenobian versus Chanigan at 7 p.m. and then Dark Moon versus Sonnyrath at 11 a.m.
Ooh, early Sunday morning double anti-bingo. That's a nice way to wake up. All right, so with that, we'll go ahead and start wrapping things up and let RPG Limit Break have their channel back. I do want to give a shout out to Rock Solid for trying to keep us straight with the tracking. I know it's a rough job, speaking from experience. So thanks for sticking with us for as long as you did and for keeping us straight. I want to thank Demon Frog for doing our restreaming tonight because without him, we wouldn't be having anything to watch. Also want to thank Fry Teeth for dealing with me and my annoying self over the last hour and a half. We do have a Discord for the Final Fantasy Randomizer, which Danny has posted the link for in the chat. If you liked what you saw and want to try this yourself, feel free to jump on in. We all start somewhere, and the community is a good place to pick up the game, learn the basics, and heck, might even get to the point where you decide, hey, maybe I can sit here and talk over gameplay for an hour and a half and make it sound like I'm knowledgeable. And we welcome any and all volunteers. The more the merrier. Finally, we do want to once again thank RPG Limit Break for letting us borrow their channel for this Final Fantasy Randomizer presentation. And that's going to do it for us. So for Fry Teeth, I've been Shattered Flames. Enjoy the rest of your Friday evening. Enjoy your